I did not grow up with chiropractic. I was lucky enough to be raised by a mother who valued natural health, but there were no chiropractors in our town. It was just kind of something that I was unaware of. My first exposure to a chiropractor was in 2004. I was holding my 1-year-old daughter, Kenna, and I was walking down some stairs at my brother's house, and I fell down the stairs, obviously injuring myself. So I was in pain. That was the reason why I was going to the chiropractor. My brother did refer me to Dr. Kevin Miller, and I came into the office. He adjusted me a couple times. I was feeling a lot better. I still was not really sold on coming to the chiropractor to maintain health, but when I had more children, they had issues with constipation and ear infections, and I didn't really want to give them meds, or the doctor that I was going to was not, they would give me a quick fix, an antibiotic that would take it away, and then it would come right back, and take it away and come right back. So I got tired of that. So we sought out chiropractic for them as well. And we would see changes instantly. We'd have a bowel movement on the way home, or the ear infections. We would buy some time till my daughter could get old enough and her ear would grow, and that inner ear would grow, and then we didn't have to do medication, and the ear infection subsided. Again, still not overly sold on the maintenance and coming in all the time to make sure that we didn't have those reoccurring issues. But in November of 2010, my daughter Anna, little blonde, curly hair, blue-eyed girl, I was sitting at lunch with a friend. She was sitting in a high chair, and we both started noticing, this was new, we both started noticing seizure-like activity from her. Which was very scary. It was scary for my friend as well. So much that I took her to the doctor immediately after I saw those. She wasn't really having the seizures when we went. She was bouncing on my lap, and he wasn't seeing anything. He told me to take her home and monitor her. So I watched her, laid her down for a nap, watched her in her crib, and she started having the seizure-like activity again. So his recommendation was to take her straight down to the ER. We ended up spending 3.5 days in pediatric neurology, running every single test there was possible. Anna had those little white probes all over her head. She was in a crib that had the bars on them. I could not take her out of there because they needed to monitor her brain activity that was going on. My husband at the time was out of town. I know he kept calling, checking in on her, asking me if he needed to come home. I know at the end of day 1, I said, you need to come home. They were looking at a seizure disorder that infants get that's called infantile spasms. By the time they are early adolescent, late adolescent, it's fatal. So it was very scary for us. Doctors still couldn't figure out what was going on with her necessarily, so they continued to monitor her. After the 3.5 days, they sent us home with really nothing, saying just keep monitoring her. We don't know if she will go downhill. We don't know if this will just go away. They didn't really know. I had called Dr. Kevin Miller and told him what was going on, and he said, bring her in to me. So I brought her in. We brought her in. He did a scan on her. She had some major subluxation in her cervical spine, and he adjusted her. We took her home. He told me to watch her also. We took her home. I saw 2 more episodes from her. I brought her back in 2 days later. He adjusted her again. We never saw any episode from her again. So from that point on, my husband and I were locked in. We were locked into chiropractic care for us. We were locked into chiropractic care for our kids, as maintaining health. And just like the case with Anna, with her seizure activity, he removed the interference, and her body was allowed to heal the way that it should. It's the same with the constipation that my son had and the ear infections that my daughter had. When you remove the interference down the spine, you allow your body to heal exactly the way that it's supposed to, the way that God intended your body to function. So we learned through a handful of medical issues that our family had that chiropractic can allow your bodies to do exactly what they should. So joining Dr. Miller's team, being a part of chiropractic, Committing to that for me and for my family was a complete no-brainer.